Welcome back, folks. Our Global Outlook is sponsored by Maury's monthly newsletter, Global Outlook. China's military vice chair urges troops to prepare for combat. With whom? The Iranians are bragging about their secret nuclear deal that President Obama and John Kerry lied to America about. But first, mass immigration and multiculturalism has Europe robbed by terrorism. Did Germany just fulfill Hitler's plan without even firing a shot? So we talked about the Brexit exit and what was going to happen. Really, nothing major happened. A couple of days, the stock market corrections and whatnot.
It went down, went back up.
Germany seems to be the power broker, the power player now in Europe. Did they just fulfill one of Adolf Hitler's prophecies without even firing a shot?
No, I totally ridicule that. I think Germany is not the Germany it used to be. And to have 1 million Muslims coming into Germany that they haven't even checked out, and I'm sure there are a lot of ISIS people in there. In fact, there have been a lot of incidents in Germany since they've brought in the first batch of people from the Middle East.
Yeah, there was an axe attack just recently.
Yeah, a guy with an axe on a train and rapes at a holiday.
Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're committing national suicide. So they're looking at Germany as Germany was back in the days of not Hitler, going back to the days of the Kaiser. After the First World War, Germany was a powerful country that covered most of Central Europe. Even then, today, Germany is still the most disciplined, possibly the most productive country in Europe, but I don't think they carry that much power anymore.
Do you think the European Union will eventually disintegrate?
Yes,
I do too.
I really do. I wrote a story about that the day the British voted by 4% to get out, and I said this is just the first step of a disintegration of the European community.
How the American media tried to sway public opinion like they always do, leading you to believe that there was no possible way that the British people would vote themselves out?
No, I think you're giving too much credit to the people in the media. The type of people that the giants of the American press that goes back 50, 60, 70 years, they don't exist anymore. In fact, that's the problem. We don't have leadership in any major segment. Anywhere. That's the whole thing. When you said, how can we...
Every institution in America has been corrupted.
That's exactly...
Every single one of them.
I agree with you. That's the problem. That's why...
Including the military, which you used to be able to count on.
You don't have the reaction anymore, whether it's a good organization or a bad organization that say, wait a second, we're not going to take this anymore. You know, even some of the nasty organizations like the John Birch Society back in the 60s, which are pretty tough organization, you don't have that anymore. You even, I'm laughing because I'm thinking they had Abraham Lincoln Rockwell, who was a head of the neo-Nazi party. It was a joke, but you don't have anything like that. Now, good, bad, or indifferent, what you don't have is you have anybody out there who will hold this president to account.
Except for maybe the guy that's running to take that job next.
Well, that's a different story. That we're talking now about the presidential election. I'm saying, first of all, the first term of Obama was a disgrace because we had, when I give Roosevelt a lot of credit for it, he came in 1933. The first thing he did, he started building these organizations to go into infrastructure.
But he actually did it.
He did it. You got TVA, you had WPA, PWA, and so on, and you got people employed to a certain extent. This guy, the only thing he wanted to do was put his health care program.
And pay off his union buddies.
Yeah, well, I think the big thing in this case was health care and climatology. While in the meantime, our dams were disintegrating, our bridges were falling down, and still are, and our pipelines were about 30 years behind the times.
And our debt was soaring.
It's doubled. Can you believe that? When he came into office, it was 10 trillion. When he leaves, it'll be 20 trillion. And somehow nobody seems to care anymore. You know why? Because interest rates are so low today that you're paying, instead of paying 6, 7, 8%, which would be the biggest expenditure we had, we're now paying 2.5% or less. So we're getting away with it, and it's not the hurt that would be if we had a normal interest rate going.
Now the Iranians released a secret memo that discussed how the administration basically lied to the American people. It's going to be much faster for the Iranians to get their nuclear weapon developed. They're going to get their centrifuges, high-speed centrifuges, online a lot faster.
What about missile launching?
The ICBMs they've been launching, yes. We knew that going in, but now it's become official, and it was the AP of all places that reported that. What's your take on what's going on with the Iranian situation?
Well, first of all, I will say Hillary Clinton was incompetent and kind of stupid in the way she handled that job. But John Kerry is very dangerous. I think John Kerry is another Obama. I mean, this guy will do anything in order to fulfill the dirty work of the White House.
And
seems to enjoy doing it.
You'd have to say that there's got to be some anti-Semitic views and some anti-Israel behind the scenes to allow Iran to do something
Well, no
like
question
this.
about it, because the one place where they would send a missile against would be Israel. Now, by the way, one of the good news just happened a couple of days ago. They're having the same problem as North Korea. They can't get those missiles to stay up in the air. But eventually,
eventually they're going to get it.
the point is, he not only lied to the American people, but he knew it was worse than that. He knew what the consequences were if they got a nuclear device and the missile launching capability to go with it.
And we've allowed them to have the money to finance these things on top of
$150
it.
billion goes back to them. This is just unacceptable. And the fact that there's no organization in this country with any kind of power, verbal or otherwise, to say enough is enough. You know, in the annals of history, Chamberlain is looking a lot better as compared to the sellout that we had by Obama.
So it's Carter.
Carter must be happy to see Obama, because now he's only the second worst president we've ever had.
And I got to say that Jimmy Carter, I don't think was didn't have the bad intentions. I think he just wasn't a very smart guy.
I totally agree with you.
But these people are nefarious and
they
really have a chip on their shoulder when it comes to this
they're the
country.
progeny of Saul Alinsky.
Yep.
That's basically what this is all about.
Absolutely.
And there's hatred involved. There's the family situation of Obama. Nobody knows who his real father was. You know, there's a lot of things behind the scenes.
The mother
which we don't
leaving
know.
him behind, raised by your grandmother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
China, their military vice chair, is urging their troops to prepare for combat. As they continue to take over more and more of the South China Sea, who's he talking about? Who are they going to combat with?
I think that's an exaggeration. I think that China would, every country would like to be feared, because when you're feared, you can get things done. People will do anything to cushion the shock of having to defend themselves against you. And China spends more now on their military than we do. We have. Remember the sequestration of a few years ago? We would cut back our expenditures. Well, it all came on the back of the military. We have less ships now than we had at the beginning, not only of the Second War, but the First War. And we have our military today, and I think that was deliberate. I think in Obama and that bunch around him, they figured, if you got a strong military guy, they may suddenly flare up and say, listen, enough is enough.
That's why Petraeus was purged. That's why Mike Flynn was purged.
That's right.
That's why all the top generals have been released, and they all get them on hokey sexual harassment or
absolutely
anti-Islamic comments or what have you.
Well,
so basically, Erdogan went and purged his military all at once. These people have done it slowly, like a drip, drip, drip over time, but it's the same result.
Well, also, Erdogan also did it slowly too, but he accelerated it to really take over as a total dictator.
We need to take a brief time out. Our Homeland Security, Political Insider, and The Moment in History are coming up. If you want to watch the show or catch any of our segments, it's simple. It's free. Just go to YouTube and search Morris Beschloss. And when you're there, remember to like us, recommend us, and leave comments and share with all your family and friends. Our quote of the day: Progressivism allows you to ignore reality, change the narrative, and rewrite history. You know who said that?
You.
Correct. We'll be right back.